You're listening to the Fitzroc Podcast, interviews where we explore the shifts and transitions of life. Here are your hosts, Keith Rock and Don Fitzsimmons. Good day, everybody. Today we're going to talk with Cindy Vogel. Cindy, we're excited to have you with us. She is a painter, a muralist, a bodybuilder, musician, boxer, and mother of two boys, one of whom is an angel. The other one is 22 years old. So, Cindy, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
This morning.
Hey, Cindy, how are you?
I'm great, Keith. How are you?
Good. Well, Cindy, I have, since I met you, I've been intrigued by your resilience and strength.
Thank you.
Do you want to talk about anything do you think has given you that strength and resilience?
Well, a lot of things have, in my opinion, but honestly, I think I have to give it to God because, you know, I've had quite a bit of things happen in life. I'm 51 years old, and I've been told I've had so many things happen. I have to give all the credit to God because I'm supposed to be here. I feel like I'm supposed to help others in some way, and I'm trying hard to discover what I'm supposed to do, how I'm supposed to follow some of the visions that He has given me inside. And so I think I'm what you call a 2x4 learner. Do you guys know what that is?
I can surmise, but go ahead.
I have to be hit upside the head with a 2x4 before I can learn. And so God, being my perfect Father, He allows some pretty hefty things to come my way in order to teach me those things. Teach me how to be calm inside and settle this fire that burns inside of me. My childhood, I don't remember a lot of my childhood, oddly enough. I'm not quite for certain why, but my aunt says that's probably a good thing. So I'll just leave it at that. I've been married twice, lots of realization there. And I've been divorced twice too. But maybe the biggest thing was losing my son. I realized at that moment that my intense control issues in life, they went out the window.
And it didn't matter anymore, right?
It didn't matter. I was not in control. And it's taken a good long time. He's been gone for 3 years, almost 3 years. And it's taken this whole amount of time to realize that I'm actually glad that I'm not in control, because I've messed up a few things in life, just so you know. And so now I'm giving it over to God so He can direct me. And now my prayers are, send me people and put people in my path so I can facilitate what you have me here for. That's what I want.
Awesome. And, you know, we have listeners who are struggling with grief right now. Would you be willing to talk about your grief process, what that looked like?
Yeah.
For you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It gets raw. Are you okay with raw?
Oh, I'm okay with raw.
Okay.
Are you okay with raw, Keith?
Oh, yeah. Bring it.
Yeah. Well, number one, you don't follow the steps. And I don't think there is any other pain quite like losing a child. And I'm never going to take it away from anyone that, like a dad or someone, but I carried that child inside of me. I felt him. I apologize.
Oh, please don't.
I felt him kick. I gave birth to him. I took care of his every needs. And he was supposed to be mine. I was supposed to protect him. And they grow and they become invincible. And then you realize that they were only yours on loan. And so the grief process, my first year, I was numb. I had no idea what was happening around me. There are people that come to me and say, do you remember, at such and such? And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I apologize. My birthday is March 27th. And my son's birthday is April 2nd. There's 5 days in between that. And the first year I was unaware of how that would attack me. And it did hard. It did hard because as a mom or a parent, I can assume, the only thing you want from your kid on your birthday is a hug. People toil over what to get. What should I get my mom? Give her a hug. That's all she wants. And I could not have a hug from my son. And it was the only thing I wanted. It was it. And so I struggled. And that first year, I got into a bottle and I helped my pain through that. Of course it doesn't help it, but it does numb you. But I wasn't numb enough. And there was a moment that I tried to give up the fight. And again, I say to you, God has me here for a reason. Because I did try. I tried. And so then I went and got on meds. And I was on meds for the full entire second year. And it kept me here, but it kept me numb. It kept me unable to continue the grieving process. And so recently, I have weaned myself off my meds, and I am happy to say that I went through this third birthday completely med free. And did I cry? Oh my goodness. I cried. I felt every emotion, and I made it through. And I cannot tell you how proud I was of myself. I was like, oh my gosh, I did it. And I think this year I made a post on Facebook how I was angry at my son because we don't lie to each other. And every time he left, I said to him, kiddo, be careful. Mama, I always am. And so this year, I admitted that I was angry with my son. So the process is all over the place. Grief does not go in a straight line. It veers. You're triggered. You have waves that hit you, and you have no idea where they came from. But as time continues and each day goes along, I realize that I can see a wave in the distance. And I can see it coming, and I'm like, Oh, I see you over there. And I can handle it just a little bit better every day. Doesn't go away. It will never go away
And I
until I die.
and I think one of the things I'd like for folks to realize is you're 3 years into this and you're
Yeah.
still dealing with it. Sometimes people get frustrated with themselves that they're not getting over things as quickly
Mm.
as they think they should. And I just want you to be reassured that there is no timeline for grief.
No, absolutely not. And and grief is the price we have to pay when we love someone. I mean, it truly is. Each tear that falls is all that is love dripping from my face. That's it. And I I loved my kid a lot. I loved my kid a lot. So I have a lot of tears for him.
Thank you for being open about that. Really appreciate it. I
Hey,
know
no
that was,
problem.
as you said, raw.
I do think there are a lot of, surprisingly, I have a lot of people around me that have lost children. And, it's cathartic to speak with them because when you haven't lost a child, you you apologize for some of the thoughts that enter your mind. When you talk to another mother that has lost a child, you don't have to apologize because you have some really weird thoughts go through your head that make you wonder if you're okay. And I'm an educated, intelligent person, and some days I'm like, maybe he's on vacation, and it's been 3 years.
Thank you for being so honest and real. One of the things that impresses me most is actually knowing you. We've actually had some pretty real, raw conversations.
We have.
So one of the things I've picked up on from you is like, so you like things like boxing and motorcycle riding and
Yes.
like what I heard from you was like how you're kind of a mom to a lot of people in these different groups.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Um, I've had people tell me over and over that they just feel like they can be open with me. When my son died, he had a motorcycle and car group that he was very close to. And they all adopted me. I adopted them. And, have went through a lot of, I guess I could say, things that my son would have went through. I got to go through with his friends. Still, you see them grow, and I'm just now to where I can fondly accept and kind of think about, oh, well, Alec would have been, doing this or doing that. And so that has been very therapeutic for me. They all call me mama. So it's kind of cool.
Right. And I can see how that you would be that kind of person. You're an interesting mix of this kind, raw, open person, as well as like knowing some of the other things you do, and like also seeing your arms and thinking, my God, I wish my arms looked like that. So I could imagine you could be a tough individual if that's what it was called for.
Yes, I have been tough. I mean, I used to wear it proud. I used to be very proud of how angry I could get. The walls that I built up around me. I used to wear that as a badge, maybe something similar to tough as nails. And there are very appropriate times to be tough as nails. But I have also learned that vulnerability is actually strength. It takes someone tough as nails to be vulnerable.
Oh, will you say that again?
Yes.
It takes someone tough as nails to be vulnerable.
Absolutely.
I don't know. There are appropriate times for appropriate feelings and actions, but I was tough as nails all the time. And each incident that would happen to me, I would get even tougher and thought, oh, I can do this. I can do this by myself. I don't need anyone. And the fact of the matter is we do need people. We need people all the time, every moment. They are our safety net, we're supposed to be near people. We're supposed to fellowship. We're supposed to come together and be there for each other. And if you're tough as nails and you have a bubble around you, and I mean, I gotta tell you, I got tats everywhere. And the first, I'm not joking. I got those so people would leave me alone.
And so, Cindy, that strikes me like, so you used to be this tough as nails persona all the time, but
Yeah.
now you're to the point where you realize we do need community. I need community. How in
Yes.
the world did you make that transition?
It goes back to losing my child.
Okay.
Because I was on my knees for the first time. I couldn't function. I didn't have enough money in my bank account to have a funeral for my son. That's not something that you just, you're like, oh, hey, okay. So, and all those kids got together and did a GoFundMe account, and there was $87 left over. And see this right here? Guess how much that cost?
$86.99.
Right? It did. And that is my son right there. And I carry him around my heart all the time, every day. So I realized that I didn't take anything from anybody, because you just do it yourself. You're tough as nails. You can just do it yourself. But I had to take that. And then I started realizing, you know what? Maybe I do get some relief from talking to these kids, from talking to people, from taking food from someone when I haven't eaten in 3 days because I was grieving so much. And so that was the start to realizing that, you know what? Okay, maybe I should soften just a little bit. Little by little, God worked on me and knocked me upside the head a couple of times. And I realized that I have so many resources out there. Why not use them? These are good, wonderful people. Why not use them not use, that's a bad word, but accept their help. And so that's how it started for me.
So you mentioned the $87, and you were able to point to something that we can see, but for the audience that's
yes,
this, tell us about that.
It's my it's a little urn with my son's ashes around my neck, and I have a cross on the necklace with him, because I know he's in heaven. So that's And I don't believe that anything is a coincidence. I truly believe that everything happens for a reason, and through the pain, you just have to you have to find the reason in the pain. I mean, everybody's got pain. Everybody's got their own pain. I believe it is your purpose to be able to persevere through the pain and help somebody else. Don't keep it bottled up. Don't be the tough as nails. Help somebody. That's what we're here for. If we were here, if we were the only person on the whole wide world all by ourselves, then you can keep that to yourself. But I feel like it's our obligation, if we've went through pain and learned something from it, then share it. Share that. Help somebody else.
You know, Cindy, when I hear you talk like that, it's like it's a grief transformed, basically.
You know me. My son will not die in vain. Not if his mama has anything to do with it. You know, I mean, he had 2 motorcycles. I started riding his first motorcycle just so I could see the joy and feel what my son was feeling when he rode. And I sat on the sofa for 6 months and talked about it. And then I was like, and then I went and bought a helmet, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I bought a jacket, and then I bought gloves, and then I bought shoes, and I was like, oh no, now I got to do it. So it's getting busy living so I don't die. I do all the things that I do. You know, the boxing, the bodybuilding, the learning how to play drums, the motorcycle. I do all those things so I can get busy living in order not to lay down and die because I lost my son. He would not want that. He would not want that. I have to make the best of the time that I am here until I get to see him again. I have to.
Oh, that's a great way to wrap this up. Thank you so much, Cindy.
You're very welcome. I appreciate you having me come on here, and I hope and pray that I've helped someone, just maybe one person, because grief is very real, and no one should ever be ashamed of their grief. It is beauty.
Thank you so much, Cindy.
Thank you, Keith.
You're
Thank
amazing.
you, Don.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Fitzroc podcast. The music you are hearing is Swim with Wild Musical Instruments by Your My Muse. Copyright 2019 and licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial License. Until next time, have a fantastic life.
Half marathon.